Hi, colleagues. My name is Claudia Abar, and I am a kindergarten teacher in District 4. I'm also your virtual content specialist for kindergarten math. We wanted to create a video today to highlight the launch part of the lesson for lesson 9 in Unit 6. The launch part is asking you to work with the Pattern Shapes app. And while we created a video on how to work with that, we wanted to do a few reminders of some of the work that you'll be doing today and some of the work that you'll need to do today. As a reminder, these are suggestions. You're welcome to use any app that you feel comfortable with or any way of doing the implementation guide that you feel comfortable with. So let's begin. Unit 6, Day 9 says, how can we compose flat shapes using pattern blocks? So let's go right into the implementation guidance. And the implementation guidance here, it's pretty straightforward. It's asking you to launch the app, which I will do in a few minutes. And it's asking you to first drag 2 squares from the side. You're going to start with 1, then drag 2. How do you know that these are squares? You'll ask your children some of the questions. Then you're going to ask them to add 1 more square. Now you have 3. What are some shapes that you can make if you have the sides touching? And that part of it is really important. So we'll spend some time on that. And then we're going to ask them to add another square. We're going to ask them to put it into creating a bigger square with the other 3. Then there's another part here where we continue, and this is the part that is going to prepare them for the exploration stuff that they're going to do. The exploration slides are the ones that they do independently. We're going to ask them to take a square and a triangle and create a new shape. We're going to show them how to manipulate that and how to make different shapes with it. So that's the work that we want to review with you today to make sure that you feel confident in doing so. So the introduction, the launch, and then these are the exploration slides that they will do on their own. So let's go right in here. In the introduction or launch, you have the hyperlink to access the pattern shape apps. When we get there, you'll see this. So the first part of the lesson is asking them to add a square and then add another one, and you want them touching. So you will place it right over the last side of it, like this. You would ask them, how do you know that these are squares? When you put them together, what do you have? You have a rectangle, but if you separate them, you have 2 squares. So go ahead. And again, you know your children better, so go ahead and do this in a way that you feel comfortable. You ask them to add a 3rd square. Some of your students will put it here. Some of them will do this. Some of them will create a longer rectangle, and all of these are fine. They're learning how to manipulate these. And then when we add the 4th, then we ask them to create a bigger square, which will look just like this. Now, this is all fun and games. This part of it is pretty easy, pretty straightforward. You have a window, you have a bigger square, you have a lot of different things that you can say about this. Now, the part that may be a little bit of a concern for your children, let me go ahead and get rid of some of these squares, is when we ask them for the next part of it, is when we ask them to add a triangle. Now, some of them will find this. This is the easiest way. You create a bit of a house shape. Some of them might decide that you want to put it here and you want to create a bird, maybe with a beak or something. So let's do this. And as you can see, now I started to move them, which is the part that we want to highlight with your students, how to manipulate the shapes. You can move them to create anything you want, right? So you can do this. You can put the triangle on the side. Maybe you want to put it down here. As long as one side of the shape is touching the other side of the shape, completely okay. So maybe you want to do this, and it looks like an ice cream cone with a square ice cream on top, whatever you want to tell them. So this is how you manipulate them. You have to click on the shape that you want and move it around like so. So let's play some more with this. One of the things that I love to do with my students is ask them, how can you recreate this shape with the other shapes here? I would ask my students to go ahead and add, and I would tell them, I'll share the shapes that I want you to add. I'll tell you to add a green triangle, and I'll tell you to add this. Now, this is a little cumbersome, right? I've called it a diamond. We know it's a rhombus, so we recommend that we use the language moving forward, the blue rhombus, not the blue diamond. So I will tell them to add the rhombus and to turn it around, because when it first comes onto the mat, it comes like this. I will tell them to add it, put it in the shape that I wanted, and then bring it over here. I will tell them to do the same thing with the triangle, and I will show them how to do the first part because this might be a little bit harder for them. And then I will tell them, okay, now you fill in the other part. Now, some of them might choose the trapezoid, which is another really cool way to do this. and you will turn it just so that you're matching all the sides like this. You can ask your students to create it in any way that they want. What we do strongly recommend is that you give your students a chance to play around with the apps and with moving the shapes before sending them off to do the explore slides. Thank you for watching this video. We wanted to create a really quick one on how to do the launch and how to make you feel a little bit more comfortable with the launch, because you probably haven't used this app in a while. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you soon, colleagues. Take care.